rather be out here or back in school? All right. Well, my name's Joel Amargo. I'm the president of School District 135, and I'd like to welcome everybody today to this wonderful occasion. Before we get started, I want to introduce some dignitaries that are here today. We have Mayor Dan Mclaughlin. We have Trustee Ed Schuessler. We have the Village Manager Paul Grimes. We have a couple other colleagues of mine on the school board. We have Board Member Tina Zekich. We have Board Member Dr. Laura Berry. We have our Superintendent, Dr. Janet Stutz. And my understanding is that we have a lot of former teachers from Park School here. So if you're here, can you raise your hand or stand up to be recognized? And then I'm also told we have a lot of former students from Park School. So if you're here, please stand up or raise your hand to be recognized. All right. So I guess we have some people to do the Pledge of Allegiance. All right.
Mrs. Meyer and Miss Crawford's class are here to say the pledge. As soon as they finish the pledge, they do need to leave to catch a bus for a field trip. Can everyone please stand? Place your right hand over your heart.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic of which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Please remain standing, and Mrs. Schott, our music teacher from Park School, will be leading our first and second grade students in a patriotic song. Thank you for waiting. And now our early childhood and kindergarten classrooms are going to sing a Park School song. They're singing a cappella, so you need to really listen carefully. And you're welcome to join in on the chorus. It's a catchy tune.
Oh, I love
At this point in time, I'd like to introduce Mayor Dan McLaughlin.
Thanks, Joe. Well, good morning. What a great day. And I will tell you guys, I love Park School too. That's why I'm here so much. And I'm happy to be here today. And all you guys did such a great job singing. I think you should be on American Idol. What do you think? You should be on the internet, not today. All right. First of all, it's kind of an honor to be out here today. We have a great history in Orland Park, and obviously Park School is part of that history. But we started a program a number of years ago based on determining contributing structures to our history based on the architecture, based on when it was built, based on the value to the community. So we've only right now have 9 other structures that have been given this historic significant designation. But we're eventually going to try and tie them all together with some kind of a walking path, a historic walking path through Old Orland. So we think that'll be kind of neat. So it's kind of an honor to be here today to see one more structure highlighted and made a significant structure. We're happy that you guys were able to come out and join us today. You know, it's always been kind of neat to see go by this every day and see this part of the building was built in 1922, I believe, and then the history of what the United States was going through in the 1930s and President Roosevelt with his WPA projects built this building as a use for the community, but also to put people to work, to kind of get people back off the, back on working again, because so many people were out of work at that time. So there's a lot of history tied to the United States as well as Orland Park in these buildings. So we're very happy to be here today. I'm very happy to be part of this ceremony and glad all you guys were able to come out on such a nice, beautiful day. And let's unveil the structure.
Yeah. All right. So as I mentioned before, I'm Joe Lamargo. I'm the president of the School District 135 here. And today is a very special day for District 135, and we want to thank Mayor Dan McLaughlin and the Village of Orland Park for designating our Orland Park School a local landmark. Schools District 135 shares the village's rich history, being an important part of the Orland Park community. There are many stories about Orland Park School and where students attended classes before this building was built in 1922. Many of you know the name Levy from the Levy Recreation Center. Some of our students may have gone to preschool at the Levy Center. That was named for Franklin Levy, who served as Orland Park's village trustee for 65 years. His father and uncle opened the Levy Brothers General Store on Union Avenue in 1898. In the 1900s, young Franklin walked a block to the grammar school at 143rd and Beacon Avenue. In 1994, he said, it was a 2-room schoolhouse with a cement porch. There was a big room and a little room. That building still stands and is now a house. There was no high school then, so Franklin took the daily train to Inglewood High School in Chicago. Before the school building was built in 1922, students attended classes in 1 or 2-room schoolhouses in different parts of town. Imagine each of these buildings with just one teacher and all the grades in the same class. Doesn't seem so bad right now with our students, right, in the classes? The last high school class that graduated this building, when it was Orland Park High School in 1954, these students also had classes in different buildings in Orland Park. And then Carl Sandburg High School opened. Generations of students have learned at Orland Park School. We have grandparents, parents, and children, all from the same family who have learned within these walls. It is a very important part of Orland Park history. Students, I want you to always remember today and that you were here when we celebrated your school. When you go past this building later in life, when you're in high school or as an adult, you can proudly say, I was there when they made my Orland Park School a landmark. I was part of history. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lamargo. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our village of Orland Park specifically our mayor, our village trustees, Mr. Paul Grimes, Mr. Pitos, our organizers who put this dedication together, and the ceremony. I'd also like to thank the Orland School District 135 Board of Education for their dedication, their service, and vision for fostering the partnership with the village that ultimately benefits our students, our staff in District 135. Special thanks also to our maintenance department, communications department, Sue Kulgowski, our building principal, our staff, but especially our students. I'm an educator, and so you know you're not going to get away today without doing a little activity with me. First of all, what I'd like everyone to do is to close your eyes. Got them closed? Got them closed? Everyone close your eyes. Now, what I'd like you to do is create a picture in your mind of the very first time, the very first day that you walked into Park Elementary School. For our students, do you see your teacher? How about the first time you walked into the gym? Did you smell the limestone? Notice the rock, how different it was? Maybe the hallway, or from the hallway of your classroom? Did you ever wonder why? Now create the picture in your mind of your first lesson that was taught, teachers, or the first book that you read. Are you visualizing, maybe, an event for those in the audience of attending the Veterans Day program? Or maybe it was the summer school picnic that stands out most. Maybe you remember an activity in which your mom or dad came to school with you and you showed them your classroom. Or just maybe today is the first day that you stood in front of this historical site and witnessed more of history in the making. Now open your eyes. These memories and pictures in our minds for all of us standing here today will become historical events not only for us as we grow older, but the future students who later will attend Park Elementary School. Stories of years past will shape what students will one day come to know in their future. For each of you who are here today, you have left some mark, some piece of history that will live on forever and ever. Your memories, your experiences at Park Elementary School are very different from the time in which students who attended in the past. And there's one person here today that I know for sure who's had that experience, and she works in our office now at the district. And so we've asked her a few questions. She attended Park School from 1950 to 1958, and she described how it was very different. There was no kindergarten here. They began school in the first grade and remained at Park School at that time until 8th grade, because the high school then, Carl Sandburg, as Mr. Lamargo said, had opened. Classes were no more than 15 students. They had one teacher who taught everything all day. Students included local Orland children and nearby farm kids from where were picked up by taxi from farms located on what is now Wolf Road and 108th Avenue. And aside from classes, students enjoyed roller skating in the Limestone gym every Thursday night, weekly basketball games that include big raffles and cakewalks. Now how about this? Students walked everywhere. A mile to school, a mile back home for lunch, and then a mile back to school for classes, and then a mile back home again. Marilyn, who's out in our audience, described that walking into Park School today brings back many memories that passes through her mind, including the day of 8th grade graduation in this gymnasium. She shared with us that the smell of the limestone when you walk into the gym is exactly how she remembers it when she graduated in 1958. Orland Park School, history that runs deep and is rooted in this community, a school building in which everyone knows is a place where children learn and grow, shape children's interest, prepares them for an ever-changing world, but most of all is a place to create memories of the future, and we'll look back upon and wonder what all of you kindergartners and first and second graders standing here were like. You are all now part of that history, participating in this dedication that will one day be entered into the books, or e-books, as we will come to know. Thank you.
became popular all around the world. During the 1983 Christmas season, parents in the United States frantically searched everywhere for the popular Cabbage Patch Kids dolls. On May 22nd, 1980, the Pac-Man video game was released in Japan, and by October, it was released in the United States. The yellow pie-shaped Pac-Man character, who travels around a maze trying to eat dots and avoiding 4 mean ghosts, quickly became an icon of the 1980s. To this day, Pac-Man remains one of the most popular video games in history.
Thank you. You may place that rock in our garden. (1990s) Mrs. Wolber's second grade classroom. Come on up.
Important events, including the launching of the Hubble Space Telescope, construction of the International Space Station, and the number of Internet users reached 50 million. Popular items including Tamagotchi pets, PlayStation, and the Game Boy. Our dedication rock is the Game Boy.
Thank you, Mrs. Wolber's class. Mrs. Lenhart's class, the decade. Up 10 years takes us to 2000.
Mrs. Lenhart's class represents the ringing in of the new millennium. With a decade that brought us popular entertainment such as American Idol, as well as new technology like iPads, iPhones, and Facebook. We did the iPhone.
Thank you. And our final decade that we can talk about is 2010. Mrs. Randolph's second grade classroom. Come on up.
Miss Randall's class is representing 2010. The Apple iPad was invented in 2010. Since then, customers have bought more than 70 million. The Chicago Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup in 2010 and 2013. Hopefully we will win again. Go Blackhawks! We painted the Apple iPad.
We are ready for our final two rocks, our park. One rock has park and one rock has school. So whoever would like to grab those two rocks. And are we ready for the unveiling?
My son, yesterday. I see
Yeah, you want to come and join us, trustees, whoever would like to be up, as they untie the rope and show us our historical marker.
History right on there you guys can read later. Pretty neat, isn't it? You want to read it?
Sure. I think Board Member Mike Carroll just stepped up too, so welcome him too. And I'm just going to read what this says. It says, Orland Park Landmark, 1922, Orland Park School, 9960 West 143rd Street, Prairie, Georgian Revival. This school, once located at 9771 143rd Street, as one-room schoolhouse. It was built in 1922 in the Prairie style with Georgian Revival features. The middle building by Alfred F. Pashley was once the center of the community life. The school hosted high school sports, the Firemen's Carnival, and water ball competitions. The 1940 Joliet Limestone Gymnasium by James Pomeroy was constructed by the Civilian Conservation Corps and is rare for this region. The horizontal emphasis typifies the prairie style, while symmetry accented the entrance, fan, and side lights, signal Georgian Revival. The school was once a grammar and high school until 1954, when Carl Sandburg High School debuted. So again, thank you all for coming out, and thank you.
Man on the Moon.
(1970) did we do? 1970, Mrs. Nicholson's second grade class. Got all excited about the 60s. That's the decade I was born. Sorry about that.
The 1970s was a time of change and unique culture. This decade brought us the mood ring, lava lamps, beanbags, the microwave oven, along with platform shoes and disco dancing. In the year 1976, we celebrate the 200th of this great nation. Happy 200th birthday, America! The symbol we have chosen for our rock was the famous Have a Nice Day Happy Face symbol, because this was a creation of the 70s and we still see it everywhere today to share happiness.
(1980) Mrs. Gallimore's second grade class.
The Rubik's Cube, originally called Magic Cube, was sold worldwide in 1980. The simple cube immediately became popular all around the world. During the 1983 Christmas season, parents in the United States frantically searched everywhere for the popular Cabbage Patch Kids dolls. On May 22nd, 1980, the Pac-Man video game was released in Japan, and by October, it was released in the United States. The yellow pie-shaped Pac-Man character, who travels around a maze trying to eat dots and avoiding 4 mean ghosts, quickly became an icon of the 1980s. To this day, Pac-Man remains one of the most popular video games in history.
Thank you. You may place that rock in our garden. (1990s) Mrs. Wolber's second grade classroom. Come on up.
Important events, including the launching of the Hubble Space Telescope, construction of the International Space Station, and the number of Internet users reached 50 million. Popular items including Tamagotchi pets, PlayStation, and the Game Boy. Our dedication rock is the Game Boy.
Thank you, Mrs. Wolber's class. Mrs. Lenhardt's class, the decade. Up 10 years takes us to 2000.
Mrs. Lenhart's class represents the reigning in of the new millennium. With a decade that brought us popular entertainment such as American Idol, as well as new technology like iPads, iPhones, and Facebook. We did the iPhone.
Thank you. And our final decade that we can talk about is 2010. Mrs. Randolph's second grade classroom. Come on up.
Miss Randall's class is representing 2010. The Apple iPad was invented in 2010. Since then, customers have bought more than 70 million. The Chicago Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup in 2010 and 2013. Hopefully we will win again. Go Blackhawks! We painted the Apple iPad.
We are ready for our final two rocks, our park. One rock has park and one rock has school. So whoever would like to grab those two rocks. And are we ready for the unveiling?
My son, yesterday. I saw that
Yeah, you want to come and join us, trustees, whoever would like to be up, as they untie the rope and show us our historical marker.
History right on there you guys can read later. You need it. You want to read it?
Sure. I think Board Member Mike Carroll just stepped up too, so welcome him too. And I'm just going to read what this says. It says, Orland Park Landmark, 1922, Orland Park School, 9960 West 143rd Street, Prairie, Georgian Revival. This school, once located at 9771 143rd Street, as one-room schoolhouse, was built in 1922 in the Prairie style with Georgian Revival features. The middle building by Alfred F. Pashley was once the center of the community life. The school hosted high school sports, the Firemen's Carnival, and water ball competitions. The 1940 Joliet Limestone Gymnasium by James Pomeroy was constructed by the Civilian Conservation Corps and is rare for this region. The horizontal emphasis typifies the prairie style while symmetry accented the entrance, fan, and side lights, signal Georgian revival. The school was once a grammar and high school until 1954 when Carl Sandburg High School debuted. So again, thank you all for coming out, and thank you.